Welcome to another live session, traders. I hope that you guys ready for another big trading week. After past weeks massive movement this week as well, we can see that the market is in fact almost moving in the same way. So let's look at to see what kind of trading opportunity we have. If you guys are ready for this big trading week as well, like as usual, but this week I would say that very special, because if you look at the weekly here, you can see that massive bounce. Okay, so this kind of weekly candle didn't happen in almost in that in 2 months or 3 months. So that's a massive move that we have seen past week. So this week we could see that some pullback and then potential continuation in this market. So looking forward to have some great trading opportunity in this session with all of you traders. I hope that you are enjoying this live session. Make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content that I'm posting every single day. Thanks for being here, and also let's look forward to have another great trading session. The most important part here is for us to look for the best trade and then to find better opportunity along with analysis as well as the trade ideas. Here we'll be looking at the multi time frame approach for the analysis and for the entry with proper risk management. We will look at couple of pairs such as XAUUSD in one side. The other side we will be looking at any instrument that currently showing the trend. And British pound US dollar, we can see that this instrument we had an early trade one on this one, and which is still trending here at the moment on Gbpusd as well as the Gbpjpy also currently trending. GJ, maybe short term we might find some bullish opportunity here, as you can see that Gbpjpy also here moving back to the upside. And along with euro dollar and GBPUSD, we would like to see that which one giving the best opportunity on the currencies that we will be looking to enter. So let's first discuss with XAUUSD, and then we will be looking at British pound US dollar or British pound yen, whichever trending. So the most important part here is to look for an instrument that is trending. Okay, so rather than a specific instrument, we are also looking for the instrument that is trending, because when you look for the instrument that is trending, we have a higher probability for winner. The profit will come from either British pound US dollar, or euro dollar, or GBPJPY, as long as we know that this instrument and it is trending right entry point. That's the goal here, right? And also the gold, XAUUSD, whichever giving us the best setup here. So I will be starting the full analysis, but I would like to see that everyone can hear me, guys. If you can hear me, you can say something on the live chat. Okay, so you can write why if you can hear me, so that I know that everyone can hear me. And also before you write why, I would appreciate if you smash the like button. I see that view is quite high, but the like is quite low. So if you guys smash it, will be helpful for the channel to be visible to more people. We hear you very well. Thank you. Welcome for confirming. And let's begin starting with XAUUSD, and then welcome. Thank you. And then we will be looking at all the instruments that we can trade in this market. So let's look at here, starting with the monthly chart to see overall picture in this market. So looking at monthly, I'm doing the complete multi time frame analysis, And from the multi-time frame approach, let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this instrument. Looking at the monthly chart here with this inverted head and shoulder and strong breakout, pullback, another breakout, deeper pullback, we can see that it is in another impulsive phase here on XAU USD. From the monthly perspective here, this is the monthly bullish price action here, and with that monthly impulse, we can see that this instrument is in a strong bullish trend. That's the main goal here, is to find out the major direction of the trend. We talk about the major direction. The reason is the flow, guys. Flow is the key. So when you look at something in a flow, that's where you want to ride on the trend, right? We don't want to trade a market that is going the other direction. If you are buying, we want to see that buying in the major direction. If you are selling, we want to see that we're selling in the major direction. Sound clear? Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for confirming. And from the monthly, we can see that it's in a bullish trend. And with that bull trend, looking at here, we can see that this is a previous resistance turning support here from the monthly perspective here. Okay, so you can see that here. And if we look at the weekly chart on this instrument, what we can see that from the weekly perspective here, previous weekly candle is a bullish engulfer here. And with that bullish engulfer, which is pretty massive bullish engulfer, and as this is a massive bullish engulfer, we could see that this week as the market opened, we could see the market potentially bouncing back to the upside from this level. Now looking at the daily chart here, now this is where the I was paying attention since morning. As daily price action, we have seen that in the past few days. Okay, so we can see back-to-back 3 days bullish move here, and because back-to-back 3 days bullish move, this is a support level here. Okay, where there is a this is a very important liquidity zone, as there was a gap open, and this daily level is quite important. Though I have drawn the daily level, but we cannot guarantee that the market will bounce from this level, as especially if it drops there, that's a very good area for potential buying opportunity, but it may drop that far or even may not drop that far low in this instrument. Now looking at the 4 hour here, that's where the key here. So you can see that this is the daily level where, so black in the screen shouldn't be. I think the screen is clear, isn't it? So screen is clear here, and so what is happening? I hope that it's seen clearly. Try to refresh the page. Yeah, so should be okay, should be clearly seen here. So what we can see that this is where from this resistance, okay, this is a resistance line here, and where liquidity grab, okay, so this is a liquidity grab here, and we can see that from here massive drop in that direction. And so far, as we mentioned, that this is the 4 hour, we saw that there was a doji formation on the 4 hour time frame from that level, and with that 4 hour doji, after forming a double top, the market started to break below in that direction here. Now at this point, what we can see that the price has broken below here, and with that break below, expecting that the market to potentially drop down here. This is this is a ambitious expectation to drop around 440 pip. But even if this current candle closing above this level, could be that we might see that again buying opportunity that I will be discussing later in this analysis. That why I think so. You should have 1 hour, 1.5 hour for this candle to close, and this 4-hour candle is quite important, as with that candle close we will be able to see a very clear directional bias in this market. So as you can see that here is after this 2 sessions red, this third session where you can see the market form that long wick candle. Now drawing this support level here on the 4-hour. Now you can see that this is where that's where the support here, and the price crossed that low here. Okay, penetrated that low. It's got a reaction to the upside here, and at the moment what we can see, the price approaching that level, expecting after liquidity grab to bounce back up again in the major direction of the trend. That's what we are looking at the 15 minutes here. This is where you can see the price getting little funny here, because it's a very sideways, and that's where we also will have the potential opportunity, because what I was expecting, guys, here is for the market to break that trend line completely. What we have seen that the price, whenever breaking below, getting a reaction. Now where we can look for then entry. Now as I mentioned, this is a long-term uptrend, so whenever it is coming down here, that's where we will be looking for entry in this market. So we got a directional bias, right? So we need to answer a couple of questions before we enter into the trade, and that's what I always encourage to ask questions, guys. If you really want to be successful as a trader, the first thing that you need to ask question why. Okay, so which is why is where the key, because when you ask questions behind can't see, should be sell goal, no, not selling at the moment. It's in an uptrend, so you will be looking for potential bullish setup at the moment. I'm not going to sell here as it's a bull market. Trading with the trend is the most profitable trading system one can ever have, and all my strategies that I use here is trading with the trend. They're saying that trend is your friend until it bends in the end, but I say that trend is your friend as long as you are trading. And they might say to you that buy from higher high, sell from lower low. It's a wrong concept. Don't buy from higher high. I don't want to buy the price that is high, and I neither want to sell the price is low. Neither I want to sell from the top nor buy from the bottom. Then where is the right point to buy? No one will tell you, guys. Keep in mind, that's why this channel is here. You'll learn the real trading secret, because retail trader who buy from higher high lose money, and also who sell from high also lose money. Who makes money? The smart money, right? They make money. So if you wanna really become a profitable, successful trader, then you need to trade like a smart money. Smart money doesn't buy from higher high, nor they buy from the low. They buy from the breakup structure, and that's what we will be trading based on breakup structure. So the rephrasing that buy from higher high, that I would say that buy from the breakover structure, and also sell from the breakover structure. So the breakover structure, sometime you guys see that in my analysis. This is also a breakover structure, isn't it? That's a very complex breakover structure. But here what we need to look at is the breakover structure from the trend. So when you look at that the market is in a trend, look at this one here. This is the breakover structure. This is what we're talking about, right? So trend, breakover structure, buying from here. That's a nice area to look at, and you'll find that over and over again happening in this market. More understanding will be along the session of this live session. So don't miss out any part of this live session so that you are not missing these valuable lessons that I am sharing with you guys. I wouldn't say it's valuable, it's invaluable lessons, because this is what I struggled, and everything that I'm sharing with you is from a very, very, very delicate source, as well as my own long observation. Observation and knowledge is where you guys can find. If you observe the chart, then you started to see what I'm saying, right? So if you have an experience in trading from at least more than 5 years, then you exactly know what I'm talking about. If you don't have that much of experience, then don't worry, because here we speed up the learning. That's why he said that smart people, some people learn from their mistakes, but the smart people learn from the mistakes of others. So that's what important to know, that where the mistakes happen and then to learn from it. Okay, so learn from the mistakes of other. And if I give you one example, if you're a beginner trader, have you ever opened a trade in the early Asian session, the weekend opening, just to be quicker in entry, just to see that big spread widening, right? Have you ever opened a trade during the news? Have you ever misplaced a stop loss? That trade didn't work out well, and then wrong stop loss, right? So have you placed a lot of trade in the same position? Let's say you need to open one position, but you have opened 5 positions, 10 positions. All of this learning, right? So all of this, to become a successful trader, one must learn or from that mistakes or from the mistakes of others. But the key, the reward here is that the faster you will be learning, the faster you will gain the freedom of becoming a trader, right? So being a trader is freedom, and that is what we aim for. You guys aim for being a successful trader. If you aim, then you can be. No one told you probably, but that's the truth, that if you aim, you can be. Okay, no doubt about it. Let's explore that part later, that how you can develop a very strong faith on your trading psychology to become a better trader, how you can succeed in trading, and how the real trading in fact works is also very important, right? Is it the risk reward, or is it, how does the real trading works? How does the real successful trader trade, right? Have you add position over position in a winning trade, or you have add position over position on a losing trade? So you need to look at the real trading. That's what becoming a better trader, that's where you need to see in fact how trading works, and we'll be exploring more on that. So with that being said, on the lower time frame USD, you can see that from this trend line here, this is where, okay, so this is the channel here. All right, so this is a channel, and in that channel the market is here, expecting it to drop to that liquidity zone and then to give us possible entry opportunity in this market. So looking at here in this market, you can see that there was a consolidation pattern here, and with that consolidation, expecting for the market to possibly to drop here to that support level. We'll see that how far it might be going, and based on that we can look for entry in this market. So looking at, you can see this is the 1 hour chart. The market is coming here possibly to that support or to that liquidity zone, and then to trend again in the major direction. We'll be looking to see where we can find that trading opportunity. Now you can see that lower time frame here from the 1 minute chart, we can see some downtrend going on here, and with that downtrend, so you can see the price from that level has dropped back. As I mentioned, you will be only trading in the major direction of the trend, so you will not be entering into any directional bias here at the moment. So we see that the market is coming back below here, which could lead that price further downside, waiting for the price to potentially drop to that level and then to return back again. So expecting for further downside here, and once we see that drop, that's where we will be entering into the trade. We need to see the price has broken well below that level, and then we are on the trade. So let's first of all looking at multiple time frame that you always look at. Okay, so here is, you can see that rejection again, looking at the 1 minute. This is the daily support level here. If it drops that far, that's where a huge opportunity coming for us to look at. It is possible to drop that far. If it is coming directly to the daily support level, we will be using a pending order for entering into buy trade here in that zone. Waiting on the market to show proper entry. Patience is key to trade the market. Okay, here is after this breakdown, it's still in that area. We're looking to see for the price to possibly come back further towards the downside here, and Okay, so we see the narrower movement on XAUSD. This is where the market is in a little slower movement. We will be waiting for the price to show up properly. And while we are looking at XAUSD, let's see that what's happening with British pound US dollar here. British pound US dollar, we saw that there was a significant bullish trend here, and the price now, after this strong bullish move, it's in a pullback, and with that pullback, expecting that the market to potentially revert back up here. For daily chart, here you can see there is a daily an impulse here on the daily, which is pretty strong move on the daily time frame here, and you can see the price is approaching that resistance line. With that being said, for our chart, there is a doji, and 1 hour chart here also you can see that the market is, this is an important level here on the lower time frame, and you can see 15 minutes here support level. Here on British pound US dollar, there is a huge fair value gap in that area, so I would still be waiting for a drop and a rejection. So from the lower time frame on Gbpusd, we had early trade today, that one successfully closed, and now at the moment we see that for this market to possibly to again to move back up, it needs liquidity from here, and that liquidity is where we can look for possible entry in this market. So here is on XAUSD, guys. So you can see there is a breakup structure here, and with that breakup structure, it's a significant drop in that area, and with the drop, expecting it to come back here to that support level. And with that being said, this is a support here, and would like to see that from the daily has in fact come back here. It's almost more than halfway. So because it's almost more than halfway, if today's price dropping further to that level, around 300 pip more, that's gonna be a good area where we can look for short-term buy here. Now it may come back that far, may not, but we'll be waiting to see further deepening here, because as it is currently trending on the 1 minute chart, it is possible for suddenly the market to drop in that direction here. Looking at the calendar, today there isn't any significant news, but as you can see, first day of trading is always volatile. Okay, so you can see slowly it's trying to build that pressure in that direction. That's what we're waiting to see. That if we see that unusual drop, Okay, so to that level, that we can look for unusual buy here. And if the market is coming to the daily support, as I mentioned, the patience is key. We can look for a big buy here for at least if we look at the 1 hour here, this 1 hour candle is also bearish engulfer. This is also expected in the weekly forex forecast as well. You can see the market had a breakup structure. This is the swing high here, which is the swing low here. We have 15 minutes to go for this 1 hour candle. Less likely that this current one will come here, but once it is closed, the next one is possible to drop back here or in the next session. So we are waiting for the market to show a possible structure here and then to trend. Now, as I mentioned, we are the major trend is bullish. So at the moment, I'm not looking to sell, but as you know that the market can change its pattern, can change its momentum at any time. So what's your view on that, guys? So I would like to ask you with a poll. Okay, so what's your view on XAUUSD? Do you think that it's gonna drop or it's gonna bounce back from that level? So what's your view on XAUUSD? So I posted a poll here. Let me see, guys, what do you think? Gbpusd. Okay, so we will be looking at also British pound US dollar, definitely. And so we are already on that chart and keeping that on the watch list. Would like to see that it has broken the support, and then we can look for entry for possible trade in that market. So here is especially XAUUSD, which is had a very nice trend for long term. Now in the 1 minute, locally we can see that this market is here trending, and in that trend, this is a channel. And what's happening is that from there, a drop, bouncing back up, support, drop. So it's in a, this is a downtrending channel. And with that being said, here is what we can see, that the market is, so here a couple of narrow candlestick pattern formation, which is showing that possible directional bias here on XAUUSD. Would like to see that the market is basically trending here in the major direction. And what you can see that the market is locally we can see some structure formation. It is still it still could continue to rise again, but the way the market structure form is, it's locally showing that bearish pattern here, and but we are not selling. As we mentioned, we are waiting for to give us a strong liquidity graph from the support level for possible uptrend here in this market. So with that being said, what we can see in that area, that the market is in that area waiting for the price to possibly drop in that direction. 5 minutes here, we can see that a big green candle. 1 minute chart here, where you can see the market is in a trend waiting for the price to possibly come back down here, possibly to that support level where the market is in a strong trend. And then once we see the price has dropped to that area of value, that's where you will be looking to enter with proper risk management. Now, area of value is also another very key word that we pay attention. Now, if you guys look at area of value, is where we look at a market that has high probability for the price to go up or down. Now, very few people pay attention to the area of value. We normally, that I saw that many traders trade very emotionally. But if you look at the area of value, that's where you will see that the market will have a high probability to give you quality trades. So either you are trading on any instrument, any pairs, area of value is where that you need to pay attention when we are trading the market. So looking at here, for example, let's say USD, where is the area of value? Let's say look at the daily, right? So if you look at the daily here, you can see that this is as this market now coming back below here to that support level, and that's the point where we are looking for that area of value. Okay, so you can see that the market is coming in that direction here, so we will be waiting for the price to retest here. And why it is an area of value, so as I mentioned before, asking question is the key to become a better trader. So what's your view? So why this is an area of value? So why it is an area of value? So when that we can figure out, it becomes easy next time to pick those kind of trade from this area. Why it is an area of value? Do you guys have an idea? Okay, let me clarify that so that you guys get the right information here. Now, the area of value, this zone is why it is so important at the moment for this drop. Now, you will find that over and over again in the market. So let's find out some of the confluences that we can use for potential area of value, right? So if we look at here from the daily, okay, so what do we see? That there is a daily impulse here. Now in that daily impulse, if you look at from here, okay, so you can see this is a move on the daily, right? So we can add as many confluences as possible. So area of value is where you need to look for the confluence. So if you look at the Fibonacci, you can see starting from here, this is one confluence, right? And this is where the minimum Fibonacci level is in that zone. And the next that we can see, there is a gap open and daily opening and closing, which is a support level. Okay, so in the past the candle closed here, another one open with a gap, straight gone back to the upside. So here is where the buyers are highly interested to buy in that level. Now an area of value, so if you look at the 4 hour, we see also a little different picture here. You can see there is a 4 hour 20 EMA, which is also an important area of value, right? So if we look at the 4 hour 20 EMA, you can see that this is the level where 4 hour 20 EMA, which is, if you look at here, you can see the market coming back here, resistance here, which is turning support here, 4 hour 20 EMA, and that resistance turning support from the 4 hour time frame, which is also a very important area of value, right? So if you look at here, resistance turning support, and also the 20 EMA on the 4 hour time frame. Now in that time frame, it is an area of values which is aligning with the daily and the 4 hours. So why it is so important in that zone, why you are considering that one as an area of value, that's what we are looking to see here. Now to understand it, what we need, that this resistance turning support from the 4 hour time frame, we need to look at the past, okay? So which is a significant level in the past that we saw. There was a, if you look at here, you can see this is a huge green candle, big green candle, hit that level. There's another one also closed in that area, and there's another one open and straight gone back to the upside. So in that zone, there is a number of buyers and sellers in that area, and because a huge number of buyers and sellers in that area on XAUSD, once the market dropping back to that level where 20 EMA retest from the 4 hour, and that's where we can see the market possibly having an upside bias, because in the past the bulls were interested to buy, and it's a high confluence zone where we can look for further trading opportunity, and that's where the area of value. Now we found that area of value. Now you can see that 5 minutes and the 1 minute chart here, you can see the market after forming this head and shoulder is trying to break below. So we are waiting for possible rejection in that direction in this instrument, waiting for the price to drop here and then to retest and then to possibly bounce back up again. So waiting for the market to trend here to that support level, and once we see the prices drop to that support level, that's where we are looking to see possible bullish entry opportunity in the upcoming session. On XAUSD, waiting for the price to possibly drop here, which is an important. While we see the Gbpusd, if you guys look at it, you can see Gbpusd here on Gbpusd. This one from this resistance line having a rejection here. So this instrument as well, after a retest, we might find possible entry opportunity. As we mentioned before, that this market breaking from that level on Gbpusd, we could see that it's coming back below here to this support, which is the resistance turning support here, and we might see that the market is possibly again trending in that area here on British pound US dollar. Well, you can see that XAUUSD here is the local downtrend waiting for the price to possibly break below that support level. So you can see that locally it is still in a downtrend here, and in the downtrend expecting for this market to possibly to drop back to this support level here where there is a high liquidity, and waiting for the market to drop here to see where it might be heading to. So we see that sideways movement. We will be here waiting for possible deeper drop, and if it is reversing from that level, if you look at the 1 hour, you can see just has candle closed here. Let's see that what kind of price action. Now you can see this is the 1 hour price action where which is there was a green candle from the 1 hour, the price has crossed that high and then had a sharp rejection. So if we look at the 1 hour price action here, which is strong bearish engulfer from the 1 hour, and because it's in a strong bearish engulfer from the 1 hour, we if this market is breaking below here, we could see the price to potentially drop again to the previous resistance here, which is turning support here, waiting for that price to drop here to the previous resistance, turning support here on the lower time frame here on XAUUSD. And looking at here on the 1 minute chart again, we can see that the market is in this lower time frame. Now here it might form a structure. You can see this is the 1 minute. This is a previous swing high here, so it may break here now and then could potentially reject. If it reject, then we might see that further bearish price action here. Again, looking at the 1 hour chart, we can see a long bearish engulfer, and less likely to me that the market will be able to straight go back up again, which is still possible. Still the market could go back up again in the direction which is the major direction of the trend, but I think that we might see that reaction from the top here, and it may possibly break below in that direction here on XAUUSD. We'll be waiting to see for the price to show its hand here. Waiting for the price to show proper entry opportunity, and in the meantime also waiting for to see that 23 votes, 65% traders think that it's bullish, 35% bearish. I think in the vote 65% bullish. Yeah, I will be on the bullish side, but not at the moment, waiting for the pullback. And once we see the market has done enough pullback, it's in an important support. That's why we will be looking for that. Welcome. Can you check dollar yen? Yeah, we can have a look dollar yen in the meantime. Dollar yen is, if we look at the 4 hour here, which is in a you can see it's a long-term downtrend, but we see that it's having a bounce as expected. So from the 4 hour, it's approaching a resistance line here on dollar yen, which what I think that the price may potentially go back up, grab liquidity, and then to drop. So at the moment it's in a local uptrend, but I won't be really bullish at the moment on dollar yen, though we see some short-term upside here. As a trend trader, I will be only looking for a market that is trending in the major direction here. So looking at the daily 4 hour here, we can see the market is approaching the resistance line and then to drop in that direction here on dollar yen. So if you look at the daily here, you can see the price also approaching the daily level, where the price approaching that zone. And 4 hour here, we can see the price approaching the 20 EMA. Daily chart here also approaching that level. Weekly and monthly also the price doing the same thing here. So from the 4 hour, any breakout here, that is where we can look for that potential selling in this market on dollar yen. So we'll be waiting for that price to go back up and then to return again in that direction. So dollar yen here, we will be able to sell if the market goes up and then reject to return in the major direction of the trend. Going back to Gbpusd here, we see that on Gbpusd from the 15 minutes, it's coming here. We'll be looking for support break potentially. If it breaks from that support, that is where the opportunity on this market. If you look at the 15 minutes, you can see the market is in a trend here on Gbpusd. Looking at here on XAU USD on this lower time frame, 1 minute, sideways movement, waiting for the price to grab liquidity and then to trend in that direction. Thank you, man, you are amazing. You too, welcome. All right, so here is the market is trending and waiting for possible trade setup. As soon as we will find that, would like to see the market has settled in that direction here, and once we see the market settle to that direction, we are looking for possible entry. We can see that downtrend continuation on the lower time frame, and daily support is here, on XAUSD. So this is the zone on the daily that you will be looking for potential a drop. And once we see the market is here, and if we see that after the market drop to that level, if it drops to that level, we see that approaching the 20 EM as well. We would like to see that after that the market again return back to the upside here, 1 minute chart. Then if it once it managed to bounce back up, we could see that it's straight going back up to that here, to the liquidity zone in this market. So waiting for a possible complete breakup structure here, and we see that it's almost nearing to that direction. As we mentioned before, the patience is key here to become a better trader. Thank you for joining the live session. Be looking forward to see how the price potentially doing. Where you can see that the market is still showing that downtrending market structure. Gold for XAUSD, could the 1390 level also be considered a point of interest, as it seems to be a strong resistance level on 1 hour? 3190. Let me see. $3190. I think that because you can see that from the 1 hour, after the 1 hour close, it is showing that drop. We could see that ultimately potentially having a retest of this swing high here. This is 3190 is a support, but it's because it start to drop, we could see that significant drop here because there is a swing high here, and potentially until we see a clear reversal pattern formation, because once the market will be in that zone, we will see the market has formed a reversal pattern, and once it has formed the reversal pattern, we'll see that clean change of trend. And once we see the clean change of trend, we could see straight going back to the double top area. So we can keep a little bit of room here for us to possibly wait to shift the market sentiment. That's what we're looking at. We need to wait for the market to shift the market sentiment. And once we see the shift of market sentiment, we are on the go. We are on the track. Patience is key. And you can see that it's trending in that direction. Waiting for that possible directional bias here to that support level, and once we see the market in that area, we will be looking for that possible entry in this market. And in the meantime, guys, if you're enjoying the live session, make sure you give a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content that I am posting every day. Here it is showing a still local bearish. That's what we're waiting to see, that for the market to possibly trend to the global support level, and then we can look for entry. I hope that you guys are understanding the education, and anyone here is any trade here. I'm not on any trade at the moment, as I mentioned, waiting for that price to drop back below the support level. And once we see the market has done enough confirmation, you can see this is the daily price action from the resistance line. It is keep pushing down here to that support where there's a gap open, and gap open here, support level, and with the gap open to that support level from this zone here. Okay, so you will be looking for the price to drop again and then to trend again in that direction. We see some reaction, but I wouldn't consider it yet as a reversal, which we could see slowly to return. So you can see that back to back two dodges here. And with these two dodges, it's maintaining that trend, direction of the trend. We can see that after two steps liquidity grab here, it's still maintaining the downtrend. So you could still be seeing that potential downtrend continuation here. So locally we can see that move, expecting it to come back here to that support level, and so key is to look for the trade that is high probability, and we are almost nearing to that. We can write that down here, daily support level, and he is waiting for on the daily support for the price to give us that entry here in that area, and waiting for the market to possibly squeeze in that direction to that support level, and then to once we see the price in the support, that's where we can, here we will not be still buying blindly. We want to see that from that support the market has created, the price has created a reversal pattern, and that will give a possible change of trend to 324042 level, and yeah, that's what you want to catch here in that movement. So waiting for the price to drop to the daily support, that's where the key here to open potential entry. Once we see the market has reversed and we see that slowly it's slowly breaking below, which is in the, according to the plan, in the direction that you want to see them. Waiting for the price to drop back to that support, and that's what the ultimate zone, that today's level that we want to see. And you know, when we can buy from that zone after confirmation, we can hold it for comparatively bigger profit target here. It's also a gap open on the daily, which is a very important level. And yeah, we can see that sideways movement at the moment, expecting it to come back towards the downside here to that support level. 15 minutes, and if we look at the 5 minutes here as well, and the 15 minutes and 30 minutes, significantly bearish at the moment. Would like to see that breaking below here, and yeah, we'll see that here. You can see there is a 5 minutes candle here, also 1 minute candle as well, and that's where high liquidity zone. You can see the The price trying to revert back here, but I think it's just grabbing liquidity for another wave of drop to the downside here, to that daily support level. Okay, you can see here is the structure formation, and which is potentially, if you look at the 1 hour and the 30 minutes also, this is the third candle on the 30 minutes, which we may see that the market to possibly trend in that direction to that support level. 15 minutes and the 1 minute chart here, we can see that this is a consolidation pattern here. Lower time frame price action 1 minute, expecting it to possibly to trend back to that level. So from here still I'm not expecting it to trend, which we could see, but would like to see that it deepen enough to the daily level, and then we will be looking for that potential entry. This music is too loud. Let's look at the different music. We're looking to see that the market to trend back to the support level again on the lower time frame. While we see some structure formation here again. So when the market moves slowly like that, we can wait for a clear directional bias. Now, being impatient is very normal in this kind of situation. When you see the market not moving with a higher trend, with a stronger trend, that's where many traders become impatient and take the wrong trade. So this is what we need to really to look at when you are looking at the market, is not to trade the market that is not trending. You know that the market trend only 20% of the time or 30% of the time maximum. 70% of the time the market moves in a sideways, and when the market moves in a sideways, you'll see that when the market moves in a sideways, we only have the probability or opportunity to be patient, to stay in a sideways, right? So when the market moves in a sideways, our goal is to remain sideways. When the market trend, that's where we will be riding that trend. And that's how the smart traders trade. You don't need to trade a lot of positions, definitely not. Few trades, high quality trade, trading with the trend, as I mentioned. That's why we discuss a lot here about the direction of the trend. We talk a lot about how we will be finding the direction of the trend. And when we look for a market that is trending, we know the direction of the trend, then we have a clear idea about what level we will be buying or selling the market. So that's what we are looking at here. You can see that on the 1 minute chart here on XAUSD, the trend currently is down here, right? So but why we are not selling is because also we need to combine the multi time frame. Okay, so the multi time frame is key. We need to look at the analysis that is based on the multi time frame. Thank you, welcome. Yes, now you can see that after this move, it's again breaking in that direction of the trend, and that's why we are not on any bullish trade, is because we want to see that the market has broken that high, grab the liquidity, and then trading with the trend, moving in the direction of the trend. Looking at here on the market for the price to possibly to remain bearish to the support level, and because it grabbed liquidity, you can see it, this is a leg, false breakout leg here, which has given now momentum again for a possible downside in that direction. It's almost there. Couple of candles needed possibly to drop to the daily support, 186 pip, which is not for much for gold, and we can expect now to possibly to retest that 3175 3180 level, and then to form a reversal pattern so that we can look for that buying opportunity. Now, buying from a daily support blindly is not also a good idea. It's always a good idea is to wait for that market to come back here to that liquidity zone and then to move back again to the upside. That's the plan. Okay, so trade your plan, plan your trade. That's how trading is. We see that head and shoulder. This market is potentially breaking below here. There's a head and shoulder here, head, left shoulder, and the right shoulder, wanting to see that it's coming back in that direction here. Okay, so it's still in a slower movement in that area, and with that slower movement, as this is a head, left shoulder and the right shoulder, would like to see that one more possible breakdown here from the trend to create a new swing low, and that breakdown, like to see that it's coming here to that daily level. Now let's revisit the daily price action. You can see that so far that move is full body red so far from this resistance line, so possibly that the market, as it's almost nearing to that daily support, we can expect a little drop here. A little means that to that daily support, and that's where we can think of any entry once we see the price has moved that far from the lower time frame in that market. So we'll be looking to see where the price is heading to. Waiting here on this structure for the price to possibly to drop to the daily support, and then to revert back again with the major direction of the trend. Wanting to see that it's breaking below here to that support level, and then to return back again in the major direction. Now here you can see that it's forming, this is a 30 minutes price action, where after this 30 minutes middleman formation, the price from this level, it's still maintaining that bearish market structure. From the 1 hour, we can see still 20 minutes to go for this candle to close. We can expect it to come back further below here, the lower time frame. Here you can see the market is in that downtrend here, 15 minutes here as well, very strong downtrend. 5 minutes here also, you can see the market is in that downtrend here. So looking at the 1 minute chart from this level breaking to the upside, would like to see that the market is coming back here to that daily support level. So here it has created a structure which is a kind of reversal, but I wouldn't still be considering as fully reversal. As you can see, the daily resistance is here. So far we have seen a drop. For us to find bullish entry, though it is trying to form a double bottom here and then to possibly to trying to bounce back up to the daily resistance, but I would still be waiting for that to drop here to the support level. But in case if it is completely changing the trend with a stronger bullish candle on a pullback, we can look for that entry in this market. We'll see that once we see the market has made enough pullback here. Hope that you guys enjoying the live session. Make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content that I am posting every single day. Now here you can see that locally it's trying to moving back up with a couple of bullish candle here, and that might be the price is to fill that zone and then to trend in that direction. So we see that after this narrow doji, getting a potential reaction here to the upside, but if it is not being able to break the high, that's where you could see the price straight dropping back to the support level. No, we are not. I'm not in any trade at the moment. Waiting for the price to drop to the daily support, and once we see the market has dropped to the daily support, that's where we will be looking for entry. But in case the market is reversing from here, then we might be able to enter once the price action has confirmed. Though it is trying to form a reversal pattern here. Looking at the 1 hour, now you can see the market, this is the 1 hour price action candle is closing here with a sharp doji, and okay, so you can see that this is a double bottom, and with the double bottom we may see the price to possibly moving back up here to the resistance line. If it is bouncing back up, if you look at the 5 minutes, you can see that there's a double bottom and it's possibly to trend up, which is a probability. If it trend up, then we will be on the trade. At the moment, still I think that it's not showing any clear directional bias. If it clearly trend, we will see a pullback or the liquidity gap here, then we will be entering to buy. looking at the daily here. Okay, so if it drops back here to the daily support, 4 hour, you can see that this is a 4 hour candlestick pattern which is closing in 14 minutes, and 4 hour candle back to back 3 sessions drop. Even this 4 hour candle closing above this level could be a possibility for potential the market to potentially to trend back up. So it is possible now slowly to change the trend, right? So you can see that 4 hour closing in 15 minutes, this is the previous session's low here. If this candle closing above this level, it is possible for the next one to again bounce back up. So let's see now this 1 minute candle, how it is coming here for a pullback, and if it is coming enough down here, we may be able to place a pending order here. So I will be placing pending order above this area here, so at 3212 level, and stop loss below this neckline here, so which will be possibly to around a little wider stop loss, and targeting to, okay, so this level, which will be potentially to almost 191 pip. So placing a buy stop here. So placing a buy stop, if only if it goes up. If it drop back to the daily support here, then we will be readjusting our entry. We might see possible trigger. So 3212.31. So place that buy stop here, and possibly we could see that potential bounce here. So place that buy stop here to see if this market is possibly breaking above here to create a potential movement. So there is a possibility for, if we look at the 4 hour close again, we can see the market to possibly to candle to close above here. And looking at the 1 minute, so we place the pending order. If it is bouncing back to the upside, that's where we will be on the trade. So place the buy stop here on XAUSD. So looking at 4-hour close, which is coming in 10 minutes. If this 4-hour is closing with a bullish candle, that means that above this area, it's the 1-hour price action as well, narrow doji. So if it is closing above this area, then the next one we can expect to potentially to revert back up again. So here it's possibly two trend in the direction. Guys, look at, you can see the market slowly building a possible pressure here in that area. So 4-hour closed coming in a couple of minutes, and if we look at the 30 minutes, also showing possible so looking at again on the lower time frame here, where now if it is getting complete rejection to the upside here, we are looking to see that possible again narrow doji formation. So looking at 30 minutes here, so a couple of dodgy formation on the lower time frame, so which is giving a probability for trend continuation here, waiting for the price to possibly to first of all to candle close on the 4-hour, which is potentially what I think that may create a structure here, and then to bounce in the direction of the trend, which is waiting to see. A changing market structure is crucial. Okay, so for the market to remain bullish here, and if we look at that lower time frame 30 minutes, so you can see there is a narrow doji. See either this market to trend back up here, and with this move we can see that pull back here, and yeah, 4-hour close is very important. The last moment how the candle is closing will determine either this market will be will remain bullish or will remain bearish. So waiting for possible entry here. So 4-hour close will be an important price action to look at. So you see that there is a 4-hour closing, and that is a so in the last moment, let's see if it is preparing for that upside structure formation. Couple of narrower candle formation here, 4-hour closed, and now wait to see that if it is moving up or breaking back. Both directional bias possible. Now if it reverse from that level, we might see that straight going back to the upside, and our entry is here. So let's see how this candle closing here, and okay, showing some bullish pressure coming possibly in that area. Depending on how the candle is closing is important here. So we place the pending order above this area for possible a movement from this direction after the candle close. We can see that some possible directional movement here in that area. And thanks for joining the live session, guys. So in the meantime, if you're enjoying the live session, make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. And here is what we can see. This is a very narrow structure. This is kind of structure is, when you look at very consolidation here, a very strong consolidation. Now if the market to reverse from that level, so that's where you will be only entering into the trade. Otherwise it still could drop back below here. So we place the buy stop. That means that we are not on the trade until we see the market manage to break above this level. It may come down here, possibly to the daily support. Here we will be waiting to see for the market to possibly possible direction or bias here is okay. So here we see that the price almost to that support. Now from this support here, if this market from the 4-hour chart, we can see the price almost tested this level, and now is it possibly bouncing back up or to the entry? Let's wait to see. If only if it breaks the swing high, then we will be entering into the trade. Otherwise we're waiting to see how the price action might be forming here. It is possible for a possible reversal from that zone, or even breaking below further and then to reverse. So if you look at the 5 minutes here, there's a 5 minutes candle closing as a doji. Okay, so you see some reversal confirmation here in that area, and if we see the price is maintaining that bullish, we will still be waiting for possible uptrend. Then we will be entering, otherwise we will be waiting here. And if this market reverse from the daily level, we could see that possible stronger bounce in this market. So our entry above this area here, the entry has 3212.31 level. So 32 1 2 TP above. So entry 3212.31 and stop level at 3143 43. 3102 3202. So okay, so our entry is above this level. We see some bullish reaction coming from the buyers. Now would like to see that it's potentially heading in the major direction of the trend. Which is like to see that it's going up here to the major direction of the trend, and waiting to see that the price to show up. And then here if it reverse, then we might see that possibly a stronger move to the resistance line. The 4 hour here, it's almost to the 4 hour resistance line, and we are seeing a little bit of slower movement, but waiting to see a possible. We see that there's a 15 minutes candle closing also. If this 15 minutes closing as a doji, then the next candle on the 15 minutes expecting to have a bullish reaction. Okay, so there is a, now if it is a false breakdown here, then can expect it to trend in that direction. So reviewing our pending order here again, so we had (3212.31). stop at 3202.29 and 3212. So here we place that way. Now if this market is potentially reversing, if this is a false breakdown here from that structure, yeah, we can expect a movement to the upside. And if, because this is the daily support, if it is heading in that direction, we might see the price to go back up to the daily resistance line. This is a very narrow zone here. Candle not becoming very strong, but 5 minutes candle pattern here, which is also possibly now look at the 4 hour where I'd like to see stronger trend. So waiting for possible bounce. If it doesn't bounce, if it drop down, then we might be able to see the daily support, and we will be readjusting our pending order here. We didn't enter by market. We are waiting for possible pending order for this live trade. And look at the 15 minutes here, which is okay. So let's wait to see in fact how the price action possibly evolving here. Sometimes the market shows very unpredictable pattern that we need to wait for the market completely to change the trend. And you might see that suddenly the price has just changed the momentum and then started to trend in one direction. If you look at here, you can see that after this green candle there is a dodgy formation, which is possibly to create a bullish price action here. Now if it breaks above, then we are on the trade, and that could possible, as we can see there is a structure here and has broken from that trend line towards the upside. Let's wait for the price to possibly to trend. Now if it is breaking out, which is from the daily level, that could take that price to here somewhere resistance in that level. So we will be, if it trigger our trade, then we will be taking the profit at 322827 level. If it is breaking out, then we will be able to see possibly for the market to possibly trend to 322728 level if it is moving in this direction here. Price action here is still not a very strong bullish, but it's trying to form that structure. If it started to move, then it might move aggressively to the upside. Looks like that the bulls trying to come in the market. You guys, I placed the pending order here, buy stop, and I believe you guys did the proper risk management here on those trade. And getting some reaction in that area here, and so looking at on the 5 minutes, where in the support level. Okay, so there is a possible for reaction here, and we'll be waiting to see how the market might be forming the structure here. It might, there are two-way possible, either to break again or move back up. So if it return back up, the major direction of the trend is up, so our bias here is to the upside. It has created series of higher low here, so which is with that series of higher low, we may see the market to possibly to trend in the major direction here, waiting to see possible bounce, which we may see that the market to possibly to bounce here, and if it start to return, we may see straight going back to the daily resistance line. So our entry at 3212.30 level, if it return back to the upside, we may see that the market is hitting that level, getting into the trade, and then to possibly to keep continuing back to the upside to create a new higher high here. Now the bias looks like that we might see possible some upside momentum. Okay, so we could see some bullish price action in that area here, and getting a possible reaction to the upside, we might see possible bounce here. So you see waiting for the price to rebound back up here. I think the market might try to trend back. Hope that guys you're enjoying the live session. Make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content that I'm posting every day. Here is, we can see that there is a series of higher low formation, multiple liquidity gap. We could see that there is a possible for a reversal back to the upside here. We place a pending order in that area, which we might get a trigger. If it get triggers, then we will be holding it for upside movement. So here we can see that there is a structure formation, which is showing that possibly bullish market structure in that area. And so here what kind of price action it is forming, that we see narrower candle formation, narrow doji from the 1 minute, which is possibly to remain bullish to the upside, and we may see the price is hitting that level here for a possible uptrend. Now 15 minutes we can see a bullish rejection, 1 hour also we can see that possibly a bullish rejection here. And the question is, if this market straight going back up here to the resistance line. Right, so this is the question, how far it is going up in the major direction. Now the market structure is bullish. We see that our place the pending order here. If it breaks this swing high, we are on the trade. But let's see where the market is potentially planning for that movement at the moment. 4 hour we can see the prices hit that level, and it is possible for this price to straight going back up again, as the long-term trend is up, and here it is possible for the price to straight go back to the upside here. And as soon as I will get a trigger, I will give a shout out, guys, where I am at. And if it bounce back to the upside, we might see the price to potentially, if it managed to bounce, then we might see that the price to directly go back to here to 322 to above 3226 level if it bounce. If it doesn't, then we may see another wave of possible drop. See that what kind of price action it is trying to form here at the moment. In this area we are still not on the trade. We would like to see that the market is getting that reaction, otherwise it still could drop again to the daily level. Okay, so it looks like that it's trying to form bullish price action yet. If it is still forming that bullish price action, then we may see that break of this resistance and then potentially uptrend continuation. Waiting for that market for that possible now here. If you guys look at it, you can see that form a doji, and if it is a breaking out, then we will be triggering that trade here. Depending on how this market structure is going to form is where you need to look at. Let's look at to see. We see that the market may try to have a bias here. It's a very interesting triangular pattern here. If this one is breaking to the upside, that we might see that the price to possibly straight away go back to that neckline here, to that support, turning resistance in that area, which we can see the market is probably having that a move, because the break is important for continuation to the upside. If it is not breaking, then we might see even break below here. But so far showing that possibly to trend in the main direction of the major direction, where So we are waiting to see if the market is breaking above for a trigger. This is a little slower movement. The question is, what does that mean, slower movement? Is the market to possibly to return to the trend or to drop down again? Here is what is happening, and there is a breakup structure here from the resistance line. Now if this market wants to trend in the major direction, we might see a straight breakout, and that could bring that this trade to trigger. And if it triggers, then we are on the trade, and that should be to the upside if it managed to break from here. If it doesn't manage to break from here, we might see that downside momentum. Let's see now what. So far I think the price still may remain bullish, but let's see how this, after this candle, how the price is moving. Ready to take the trade, guys? So we might see trigger. I think we might see that the market to possibly break from that resistance here, and that breakout could be that the market is triggering and then bouncing back to the upside here. Okay, so far there is a bullish trend possible, but still until it breaks out, I will be waiting for further confirmation. Would like to see that complete breakout. Okay, we might see that break to the upside here. Yeah, we could see possibly some upside momentum. Alright guys, so ready for a possible trigger here. Getting ready for a possible trigger, and we might see that with the trigger the price to possibly to remain bullish, as the price has just crossed that high and from this level easily could drop back down. And as soon as I will be on the trade, we will be all together, because in the same price that we placed the pending order, all of them. And also I have shared in the VIP group, in the mentorship members who are learning trading with us and also trading with us in the academy. And here is what we can see, that all right, so cool. And what we can see here, there is a trend. Want to see that it's heading. Still not on the trade yet. Soon we might get a trigger. It is still could be a false breakout. If it is a false breakout, we might see that returning down. But if it is a valid breakout, then we could see that the market to trend to the upside to weak fill here, and then boom, going back up directly potentially to the daily resistance line here. And I hope that you're enjoying the live session. Make sure you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. Press the notification bell so that you are not missing any of the content. So we are on the trade. The trade is active. I am on the trade, and let's ride the trend. Make sure guys you do proper risk management, which is key. Let's try to ride the trend here for gaining some valuable pips here, so that our effort become much more vivid and worthy, that I would say. So much time that we spend for this trade to trigger, waiting to see that it's going back up to that resistance line where there is a liquidity at I will be, if it is straight going back up, I will be taking profit at 3225 level, which will be massive, which will be almost 130 pip. If it goes back up that far, we're waiting to see that to moving back up to that level. And I think the market may continue to trend here. So we see that it's trending and we are running profit at the moment. We are running for 25 pip up, which is for me still low. Would like to have some more gain here. Thanks for joining the live session. Absolutely appreciate your support to the channel. And if you guys enjoying, make sure you give a thumbs up. Stay connected by joining all the link in the description. You guys can find real value here. Now, I don't want to see that it's gonna be a false breakout here. Really, it's a good move. Would like to see that it's moving, and yeah, we'd like to see that the candle forming in the green to the upside, because anytime we could see that it's just being a false breakout, which sometime you'll see the market does that to drop again. Okay, we can see that movement, and so far showing bullish pattern here in that area. Okay, the price action is so far showing bullish and holding it for that movement to the upside here. Now it easily can make a false breakout. Okay, and yeah, so you want to see that long wick at the bottom, so that means that buyers buying. So if we see the buyers buying, then we could see the market to possibly to move in the direction. And in the meantime, thanks for joining. Let's keep watching that trade. And I have can you please Gbpusd, thank you for that. Welcome, and then welcome. Just got the trade. Welcome in profit zone. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, that's what it is, guys. As I mentioned, I take a lot of time normally to enter into the trade. Is because we need to look for a high quality, high probability trade setup. Okay, so that's what we look at, and you can see that the market here it's formed that structure and it's moving in the direction. So this is where the key to look at when we are looking at the market, to look for a price, look for a market that is possibly to trending, and the trend is the key here to look at when we are looking at the market. So you can see it has broken to the upside here, and with that break, as if it is maintaining that uptrend here, we might see that to move back again to the resistance line that we are looking at. Like to see if it is a false breakout, we might see that straight drop back down again. As I mentioned, don't want to hold a trade if it is a false breakout. Still it's in a valid breakout, but how this lower time frame candle closing is important to look at. Now, okay, so if it is trending, this current 1 minute candle should straight going back up to again create a new higher high. Otherwise it could be a false breakout, but we see that some possible effort from the buyers to take that price action to the upside. Now it, as I mentioned earlier, we would like to see that it's a valid breakout. We are at entry, but depending on how this 1 minute candle closing, Okay, so what kind of price action it has formed? So we are looking at with the 4-hour here. Waiting for possible movement in that. Here is very interesting price action has formed now, and if we don't see that upside, we might see that downside. So we see the price has dropped back to the previous resistance here, which is turning support almost to the order block. And if it is now having that trend, then we might see that it's going back in that direction. So let's wait to see how far we might see that this market is possibly going back to the upside here. And this leg is important because this is what will determine either it's a false breakout or original valid breakout. So here what we are seeing that see that if it is a false breakout, what is how far it made the 1-hour candle, and then to return again from that 1-hour price action, and so will be very unusual to see that the market has after that much of breakout, if it again return back to the support level. And instead would like to see that it's going in the major direction of the trend. We'll see that in this area, what we can see that narrow doji. So we'll be waiting. Now it's on the support level. Okay, so here the price on a crucial level to that support. From here, expecting it to have that possible breakout. We'll see that. So from the 4 hour, it's almost to the support level. From the 1 hour, here is so there is a possible for trend continuation here at the moment. We'll see that. And okay, we can see that very narrow candlestick pattern in that area, and with this if we look at the 5 minutes also, we can see there is a long rejection here. Now this 5 minutes candle, we can see that with this breakout was expecting to trend in that direction. It has come down for a pullback from that zone. Okay, so we'll see if now it's moving in that direction for long-term trend, and still holding. It's near our entry. If it is a false breakout that if we see, then that might bring that price back to the support. Let's look at the 4-hour, and okay, so this forming a long wick doji here, which is with a very long wick doji. So with a long wick doji here in that area, this is a support level. Would like to see that the market to possibly trend in the major direction. Okay, so getting reaction to the upside and possibly to coming to the entry and going above. So we are nearing to the entry 3212 level. 3212 level, that's what our entry is. 3212.32. Now looking at the 5 minutes, where there is a narrower candle formation. Welcome. The market has started to move again a little sideways after this initial trend. So it was a strong bounce and then start to revert. At the moment, what kind of price action it is forming is we need to look at, as if you look at the 1 hour here, we can see that from the 1 hour here is, if it break to the upside here, we can expect a weak fill. That's what was expecting. In that case, the market may directly go back to this resistance line here on the lower time frame. So if we see that strong breakout, we may see the price again going back up to that to the long-term resistance line here. Waiting for the possible moving back to the upside, as from here we see there is a break of structure. So we might see bearish drop possibly to the support level again, and it's broken the support, and now from this support break At the moment we are in the middle of this price action, and so in the middle of the price action, and from this support level we could see for the market to potentially trend in that direction where the price is to be heading in the major direction. Here is a support which we see that support has broken, and again the bulls try to move that price back to the upside. Getting possibly bullish rejection. Okay, so we see some bullish bias here to the market structure is very narrow at the moment in that area, waiting for that, for the price to possibly return. Yeah, that's what we're waiting to see. I think we may see that that bias here. It's got a rejection again. Once we see that rejection to the upside with this liquidity gap, we can see the market is having that rejection to the upside here, and this is where sometime the price action become a little slower in movement, and So the market creating a very complex structure here. It might try to break that support here, so we'll see. So a very narrow candlestick pattern formation here. I think we may see that the price to break this support. At the same time, you can see this is the 15 minutes and the 5 minutes price action. It was a complete breakout and then had a rejection. Question is it it's a false breakdown and bouncing back up, or we could see that further deeper drop, as the market here in that support level is still could move back up. So we're on the halfway. So in this trade, guys, as we have seen, the market already has dropped halfway to the in that direction. If we see the market is bouncing back up here, which we could see, then we will be exiting the trade at entry for this one until we see further movement, as this is a very, if you look at here from the 30 minutes, once the candle open, we see from this level started to drop, and from the 1 hour, where also the market is almost to the support level. So with the 30 minutes candle close, if we see that reaction to the upside, we will be going out with a, so there is a long wick. There's possibility possible an upside bias. So this market, you can see in that area quite a few narrow smaller candlestick pattern formation, so which is a two-way directional bias possible from here if it is breaking out or breaking down. It's a very complex structure in that area, and until we see it has broken in one direction, we will be waiting to see that full how the market possibly finally moving. And 15 minutes candle also closing here. Now we are looking to see in that area for the price to yeah, this is our only that we can look at for being patient here, as the market, there was aggressive uptrend and then just made a false breakout return in the direction. So where the price is here, we saw that false breakout and then rejection. Now at the moment from here, the price below this support level, at the moment our aim on this trade is to go break even to the resistance line. See, the market only trend very little period of time. So here was a two wave of trend, and then the market started to move completely in a sideway. Here the market structure is in this narrow area. This is a narrow zone, expecting it to this is a very big head and shoulder here. So as it is currently in a downtrend here, we'll see how the price is reacting as it has come to this support level. Still have a bias for a possible upside directional movement to entry. So in this trade, I'm going to move my profit target at entry, so to make the trade break even a little above the entry. So in case the market is going back up, which is we would like to see, the TP target that I moved to 3213.02. So three two one 3.03. So that's where the TP is moved to, and so it will generate. If it move back up, then it will be above our entry level here. So looking at from the 1 hour chart, it almost has come back to that support. This market might remain bearish. This is a very unusual price action that we have seen breakout and then straight return back. So we have seen a very unusual drop here, and okay, so you are stopped out with that trade. You're stopped out, and like to see what kind of price action it is forming. So we are down on this, and here you can see that the market still hit those lines. So it may now break below the daily low, which eventually failed to bounce, and it may break below this daily low. And once we see the market has broken that low, that's where we might be able to enter again for further trade. Here is, it was a complete false breakout, and after that the price start to drop down again in that direction. So because it has made that false breakout, we will be waiting to see. It might now, because there is a strong false breakout, we might see that the price to potentially come back here to the daily support before it finally return in the major direction. So let's see what's happening with British pound US dollar. British pound US dollar, also we see that it's in a sideway. So we'll be waiting for further update, guys. This is a long session. We'll be waiting for what the market might be doing. Later today, my next plan is from the daily. If the price drop to the daily level, I will be looking to go long from this daily support level to the upside here. As the market has almost come back to that support, we might see that it is possibly testing that level and then to bounce back to the upside again. This is what we will be waiting to see, and as soon as you will find that entry opportunity, you will be looking to enter to cover that one with the next trade. So thank you for joining this live session. I will see you again, guys, trading live together tomorrow same time. Until that, stay well, stay happy.